Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Obviously, Season 1 Reloaded is here in MW2 Warzone 2 in DMZ, but actually just prior to the update going live, I was actually able to sit in on a call with a handful of devs from Infinity Ward and Raven to talk about not only Season 1 Reloaded and some of the changes that obviously we've already gone over with the patch notes and with all the update stuff and whatnot, but also some future changes as well. We were able to have a sit-down Q&A with the developers and find out a lot about what they're working on for future updates. They've actually revealed a lot of very solid intel and very interesting information in terms of what they have planned for some future changes. So first up, just a couple of things that they added on top of the patch notes here for a handful of stuff. For the raid, obviously the Adamgrad raid is here. There are different rewards for playing it multiple different times. The devs wanted to emphasize this. Basically, it's not just a one and done type deal, which I'm really glad to hear because that was one of my concerns going into it. You know, is there any actual replayability to this raid mission? Turns out there is. If you want the various different rewards, you do have to play it multiple different times. DMZ, they talked a bit about the future here and were actually asked about, you know, whether or not we'd see other playlist options for DMZ in the future, or if it would just be trios. And they basically said that with how they plan to expand DMZ in the future, they think it makes the most sense to just keep it with trios only. So I'm not really expecting to see DMZ solos, DMZ duos, and fortunately not even DMZ quads, which I think bums me out the most because we always have to cut one person out of our party. You know, we're so used to playing Warzone with quads. If we want to switch over to DMZ, it's like, all right, who's gonna, you know, get kicked out of the party tonight so we can go and do some DMZ missions. So I'm not gonna lie, kind of unfortunate news there. DMZ seems to be trios only long term. Also a couple of added Warzone 2 notes before we get into the Q&A portion, which is really where the big info comes from today. They did make an emphasis before they even talked about any of the changes coming with Season 1 Reloaded or the future stuff, that stability and crashes are basically a continuous fight for them. They're gonna update one thing and fix one crash, another one's gonna show up, you know, because everyone has a different PC. Crashes for PC specifically are super hard to track, but crashes and stability, then also quality of life updates are their main focus right now. So that to me is good news because obviously so many QOL updates from Warzone 1 are missing. There's a lot of QOL updates needed for Warzone 2, right? So I am hopeful for the future changes there because they seem pretty set on the fact that they need to update a lot of stability stuff and a lot of QOL stuff. Now, as mentioned, during this meeting with the devs, we were able to have a question and answer session with them, and huge shout out to my friends over at Activision for, you know, including me in this meeting, inviting me out to take part in this because this is super important in my opinion for building, you know, not only one, a communication bridge with the community itself, but two, helping, you know, improve the overall quality of the game. And it's not necessarily always, oh, they just, you know, listen to what the streamers want, they listen to what the creators want. This is a way, especially here on my channel in specific, you guys know I read all the comments. I'm able to bring forth issues that you guys talk about and shine more light on them there, as are other creators as well. So it's a huge way to just in general help improve the overall quality of the game, engage a lot of feedback based on not only our thoughts as creators and streamers, but also your guys' thoughts as well and our community's thoughts as well, which is super cool. So again, big thank you to Activision for inviting me to be a part of this meeting. But with the Q&A portion here, we get some very interesting information. This is mainly all about updates that are going to be coming in the future. They didn't really give us many ETAs on, you know, time frames there. It could be in the gap period between Season 1 Reloaded and Season 2. Some of this stuff could be in Season 2 or maybe even beyond. It just depends on how long it takes them to fix stuff. But in DMZ, they are going to be addressing the backpack issue here, where if you kill another player, if they leave the game, all of their loot, all their backpack stuff ends up disappearing and you're not able to loot that. It just takes it out of the game entirely. They are aware of that. They are going to be fixing that. So that's a big W in my book, something that's super obnoxious, especially for a lot of the challenges is, you know, you kill somebody, they back out right away. You don't even get any reward for taking them out. They were asked about private matches for Warzone 2 in the future to set things up, you know, with different custom games and all sorts of stuff like that. Private matches are on Raven's radar for Warzone 2, and they are planning to debut those at some point in the new year, and they'll evolve over time. It'll probably be relatively bare bones at first, but they do say that they are planning to get those out in 2023. Another big Warzone QOL update here is that in the future they do plan on upping the buy station count in Mini Royale. Also, they really said that the pacing felt a little bit off with some of the buy station selections, so they felt in general it was worthwhile to update the overall amount of buy stations on the map just to make those feel a little bit more consistent. You're not having to run halfway across all Mazrah just to find one buy station because they're so awkwardly placed sometimes. So that's another big W in my opinion. By the way, as we are going throughout this list, just want to remind you guys, if you're new to the channel, every day I got you covered with news, updates, class setups, tips, everything that you need to know for MW2 Warzone 2 and DMZ is right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications if you want to stay up to date with that. And if you guys enjoy this video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Let's try and aim for 2,500 likes on this one. Also, do want to give a quick shout out to my friends over at Gamer Advantage. If you guys are looking for any last minute, holiday gift ideas, Gamer Advantage has you covered. They are the perfect stocking stuffer, the perfect gift for a loved one, or maybe even yourself if you're trying to treat yourself this holiday season. They got prescription or regular lenses, so they got everyone covered there. Plenty of different frame options, all of them super comfortable to wear under headsets if you're gaming. And of course, they're going to help you out if you're looking at screens for long periods of time regardless. Gaming, work, school, whatever your case may be. And if you want to pick up a pair, code WhosImmortal has you covered. Their link for that will be down in the description below. Moving on, another huge update that I am very excited for MW2 and DMZ and Warzone 2 is the ability to save your custom weapons and your custom blueprint builds. These are being worked on. Now, keep in mind, they didn't, again, give an ETA as to when these could be introduced in-game, but they are aware that players want to be able to save their custom builds with all their custom tunes and camos and everything going on there. So saved weapons are being worked on, and those will be added into all modes here at some point in the future. We did actually get a conversation sparked up about custom perks in Warzone. There was a lot of talk about perks, how they're not working. They're well aware that, the ultimate perks aren't working. It's a lot of the time defaulting to quick fix for whatever reason. The default classes can give you your, correct perks, but those are the default classes. But important, information here, the ability to make custom perks. We've talked about this on the channel in the past, how some random players are able to edit their perks and most players aren't. Custom perks are not intentional. They do not want you making your own perk packages. They want it to be played out through the default perk packages that you choose from and select from on the menu. So, Scout, Vanguard, Commander, whatever all the other ones are called. They don't want you editing custom perks, so they are aware of that issue. That honestly could have been fixed in Season 1 Reloaded. I'm not sure yet. I'm recording this before the patch notes are fully out, but yeah, they don't want custom perks in the game, and I don't think that those will be a thing over time based on what they mentioned about it. They also brought up money. It was a big conversation here about how regaining in Warzone 2 is relatively difficult mid-game. Once the zones split off, you could be in a lot of, open areas that don't have much to loot, and that what you do find might just be a ton of $100 stacks, which is not really going to make a big impact on your regain ability, working up to 4,000 to buy a teammate back, 5,000 for a custom weapon, so on and so forth. So they said that they would be looking into, updating the money situation on all Mazrah in the future so that regaining might be a bit easier, upping the quantity of those cash stacks or, upping the value there. So maybe it's $500, maybe it's $800 more frequently. They also said that they are going to look into adding the ability to actually loot a player's backpack. Now, not in the sense of, the backpack's disappearing, but actually taking a player's backpack off of them. If they have a medium backpack and you have a small one, or you have a medium one and they have a large one, you'd be able to upgrade your backpack. This would be for DMZ and Warzone 2. So the ability to actually increase your size of your backpack based on if an enemy had a larger one or not will be coming at some point to the game. Again, no ETA, but that's another big quality of life feature. Then the last thing that they talked about here in this Q&A portion, a very controversial one, plating while running. Obviously, Warzone 2 gameplay has slowed down a lot from Warzone 1, and a huge element of that is the ability to move and plate at the same time, or like back in Warzone 1, sprint and plate at the same time. And basically what Raven said here is that plating while running will not be back in full. They don't want you fully sprinting around while you are plating. However, they are going to be increasing the movement in which you can plate and move around with. So you're going to be able to bust through doors while plating. You're going to be able to bust through windows while plating. So you are going to have more movement capabilities while you're putting on plates, but full on sprinting is not going to be one of those things. I guess I'm gonna have to wait and see how this plays out with these other QOL updates with plating to see if it's, you know, enough of a change. But to me, the inability to sprint while you're doing that is definitely a hindrance in some cases. Basically is a guaranteed death if you're coming up with somebody who is constantly pushing you. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly that plays with those new changes in effect. But regardless, some really important quality of life updates here, some really promising future changes and updates coming to Warzone 2, MW2, and DMZ here in the future. Of course, as any new updates, any new changes are added in via patch notes, via stealth updates, anything like that, you guys know I got you covered with all the latest intel right here on the channel. So make sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out, turn on those post notifications. That way you'll never miss another video. Also, if you guys enjoyed this one, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. But that is going to wrap things up for today. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.